here from Kit Guru, and in this review I'm taking a look at the TT eSPORTS Shock Pro RGB headset. It is a very budget-friendly headset as it has a recommended retail price of only £36 in the UK. It's also multi-platform, so you can use it on PC, Xbox, PS4 and even your mobile phone using the included adapter. This headset very much reminds me of sort of a cheaper version of my SteelSeries Siberia Elite headset because it has the same sort of suspension headband design. The ear cups on this headset are made of a lightweight plastic that does feel a little bit cheap, but I was surprised to see that the adjustable headband is actually made of metal. The faux that you use for the strap isn't bad either. I think the overall build quality is actually pretty decent for such a budget product. The cable on this headset is a pretty decent length at 2.2 meters. It's also braided, which is quite a nice feature, although it does make it a little bit stiff. What I don't like about the cable is the three-pronged design. You have an included 2-in-1 adapter, so you can use this headset on several different devices, but then you sort of have the USB cable like dangling around, and it's just not as streamlined as you get on other multi-platform headsets, all for the sake of the RGB lighting. Aesthetically, this headset isn't bad. You can't tell from looking at it that it is a budget headset. The branding is quite tastefully done. You've got the red TT eSPORTS Dragon logo on each ear cup and then some more subtle branding across the headband. It has RGB lighting, which is surprising considering its price point. You do get a little bit of customization. You can cycle between the 7 different colours, set one of them to breathing mode or completely turn the lights off. I do normally like having lighting on peripherals, but I feel on this budget headset it's just a little bit pointless. It's not particularly bright, and there's a reason why most multi-platform headsets don't feature RGB lighting. It requires that extra USB connector that won't work on most devices, and like I mentioned earlier, it just sort of dangles around. I can't help but feel that this headset would be better if they just scrapped the RGB lighting completely and either made the headset cheaper or spent the money on improving the microphone or sound quality. I found this headset very comfortable to wear, likely due to how lightweight it is. It also has this self-adjusting headband that has a good amount of flex to it, so I think it should be suitable for most head shapes and sizes. Also, because of the metal construction, you don't really have to worry about it cracking. There's some soft squishy padding on each ear cup, so you don't get any sort of like pinching when you're wearing the headset, although it is so soft that I would be a little bit worried about it becoming compressed over time and not doing the job quite as well. Each ear cup is also coated in a soft faux leather, and although it does look really good, I think a more breathable fabric would be better. On the left ear cup, you've got all the buttons to mute and unmute the microphone. There's a button to sort of change the RGB lighting, and there's also the volume scroll wheel. They're all marked with red symbols to tell you what each one does. And I did find them to feel a little bit sort of cheap and plasticky, but they do the job. There's no sort of LED indication to tell you when the microphone is muted or unmuted, but because it is an on and off switch, you can sort of take the headset off to check it. I do find it quite difficult to describe sound on a headset, and I'm definitely not a huge audiophile. I'll throw the tech specs up on screen now for you, but I was actually pretty impressed by this headset for the price that it is. The bass is definitely there, it's pretty punchy, you don't get any of that sort of like tinny noise, and the clarity is really good. It's definitely enough for gaming with. Music on this headset doesn't really sound as good as it could do. You get a sort of like distant sort of underwater noise, and you can't really hear all the sort of like intricate parts of a song. However, you can crank the volume up loud and you don't get any sort of distortion. Overall, when it comes to sound quality, I was pretty impressed for such a budget headset. The microphone on this headset cannot be removed, but you can sort of fold it away. However, it does feel quite sort of like cheap and flimsy, as though it could snap off quite easily. And because it is like a solid shape, you can't really adjust it into a good position. I've had quite a few problems trying to use the microphone on this particular headset. It seems to be quite clear when you can get it working, but it's so quiet, like especially on my PC, you can't even hear it even though I've turned up the sort of audio boost to the maximum. On my mobile phone it's a similar story. On the PS4 it is like usable, but you do have to turn the microphone volume all the way up to maximum and it is still quite quiet.
I can only get this microphone to come through at a decent volume on my camera, which is how I'm recording this sound test. It does have decent clarity for such a cheap microphone, although it doesn't feature any sort of noise cancelling if you're going to be in a noisy environment.
I'm not sure if the sample I got sent is not functioning correctly or whether this microphone is just bad. It's quite difficult to comment on. I'm still waiting on a response from Thermaltake, so I will update my review on the website as soon as I hear back from them. This headset doesn't have any software. I mean, you're not really expecting it because it is a budget headset, but it would be quite nice to have something to give you more control over the RGB lighting and just make use of that USB connector. I think my review has probably been a little bit harsh considering this is a budget product, but there are quite a few things I would like to see improved. I think it would be much better if the RGB lighting was just scrapped completely and there was a big improvement made to that microphone. However, for the £36 price tag, you get a headset that sounds pretty good, it has decent build quality and it's comfortable to wear, so it's not all bad. If you like this video from KitGuru, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from KitGuru, hit the subscribe button.